The Memphis Grizzlies had an absolutely wild ride this season. Injuries, off-the-court issues, countless media headlines both positive and negative. Unfortunately for the Grizzlies faithful, their season ended in elimination in 6 games by the Lakers. And now, Grizzlies fans are wondering how Zach Kleiman and the front office operates this coming offseason. And personally, I feel like it's time for the Memphis Grizzlies to grow up.
Back to being 7 with my brethren playing PSP. Now I'm growing up, they think I'm cute, but what you see in me? Right now I don't know if I'm the man that you need me to be. All my crushes fall, can't find love inside the DMV. All my crushes fall, can't find love inside these Philly streets.
Welcome to the channel, y'all. My name is Reese, and today I'm going to be starting a series that I'm calling Where Do We Go From Here? And in this series, we're going to pretend for a few minutes that we're the front office of an eliminated playoff team, and we're going to decide which trades, free agent signings, and draft picks could turn a team from just a regular run-of-the-mill playoff team into an actual championship contender. And if you like this concept, you can subscribe or like or whatever you do on here. I don't know.
Random disclaimer.
This was written before the second jamorant incident, in which I assume he's going to get a large suspension for. So I just thought I'd take a second at the top of the video to talk about that. I assume he's going to get a long suspension. It could be the whole season, who knows. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to make this video as if jamorant is the starting point guard for the team at the first game next year. I'm extremely disappointed in jamorant, as I'm sure a lot of NBA fans are. But at the end of the day, he's a 23-year-old. He's still probably considered a kid to a lot of people. He didn't break any laws as far as we know. There was an investigation that showed he didn't break any laws. Hopefully he can just put this behind him and play basketball. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because it's not really what this channel or this video is about. So
No. Anyway, last week.
now at the top of the video, and maybe in the title, I said the Grizzlies need to grow up, and I clickbaited you. Sorry. When I say grow up, I don't mean off the court like most of you were probably expecting. Dillon Brooks has already been told by the organization that he will not return to the team under any circumstances, which is probably the worst way to get fired. But with him out of the way and hopefully the Ja thing behind him, I want to talk about how they can grow up on the court. Now, for a few years, this team has been looked at as a future contender, a team that has the potential to do great things and contend for a title, but is probably a few years away. I think it's time for them to graduate from future contender status to current contender status in 2023-24. The best part about this current Grizzlies squad is that all of their most important pieces were acquired through the draft, meaning they haven't lost any of their own picks and trades along the way. They have an extra second rounder this year and an extra first rounder next year. And to be honest, if I'm the GM of the Grizzlies, to a certain extent, I want to say draft picks and developing players be damned. The Grizzlies need players right now who can give championship level minutes. And let's break down some of the moves I think could make that happen. Now, as much as I think not re-signing Dillon Brooks was the right decision, I also think the Grizzlies need to find a way to replace the perimeter defense he provided. And in a perfect world, that replacement is OG Anunoby. Assuming the directionless Raptors are willing to let go of some players for young players and draft picks, the Grizzlies are in a very good position to trade for OG. In this mock trade, I have Ziaire Williams, 2 first-round picks, and 1 second-round pick going to the Raptors, as well as Luke Kennard to make the salary match. Yes, this trade weakens your bench. Yes, this trade is giving up a young developmental player as well as a potential good player through the draft. However, the 2023 first rounder is locked at pick 25, and I doubt that any player at 25 will help you win a championship as soon as this next season. I also don't necessarily have faith that Ziaire Williams will make the leap into a playoff contributor next season. I mean, he only played 12 minutes total in the Lakers series. Last season, OG Anunoby was the steals champion and an all-defensive player at the same position as Dillon Brooks at the 3, and was also an elite catch-and-shoot threat, something Brooks certainly was not. He made 39% of his threes on 5.5 attempts per night, which is elite level shooting. OG also has a penchant for clutch defensive stops. He's also the perfect fit because Taylor Jenkins doesn't have to change his system much. Ja can still drive to the rim and kick to outside shooters. The only difference is this time when he passes out to a small forward, he might actually make it. The next and final trade I had in mind is not exactly a monumental one, more like a Woj firecracker than a bomb, but it's yet another high-level 3-and-D role player who will fit right into the rotation. The Nets currently have a roster in flux, as well as a surplus of 3-and-D wings that I think they would definitely trade for developing players and draft picks, which coincidentally, the Grizzlies have a lot of. For a second-round pick and Jake LaRavia, the Grizzlies receive Royce O'Neal. LaRavia did not play one single minute for the Grizzlies in the playoffs. In fact, he didn't even dress for Game 2 against the Lakers, even with Memphis missing multiple frontcourt options. Royce O'Neal was a defensive anchor for the Utah Jazz teams that were consistently in the top tier in the league for defense year after year. He knows what it takes night in, night out to play good defense, make open shots, and play winning basketball. So those were my 2 trades, but I'm not quite done yet. Now we're going to move on to free agency. Now, unfortunately, I had to let go of Luke Kennard to get OG. Fortunately, though, the Grizzlies were blessed with a $12 million mid-level exception, as well as being $22 million under the cap right now. Now, obviously, they have to pay some guys in the offseason to bring them back, but I think I'll still have enough money for this acquisition. I think Donte DiVincenzo is the perfect backcourt partner next to Tyus Jones in the second unit, as well as the perfect recipient of that mid-level exception money. Now, this is all riding on the fact that DiVincenzo declines his upcoming player option, and leaving the Warriors is always a hard sell. However, if he believes that he can get more money and still go to another contender, I think it's entirely possible. Now, heading into the 2023-24 offseason under my management, a 10-man Grizzlies rotation would look something like this. Jamorant, Desmond, Bane, Jaren Jackson, Steven Adams all returned to the starting lineup. I mean, they were the 2 seed, so it makes sense that a lot of guys are returning. But they add OG Anunoby into that 3 slot. He fits perfectly. And then the second unit is Tyus Jones, Donte DiVincenzo, Royce O'Neal, Brandon Clark, and Xavier Tillman. To me, this roster has all the shooting, playmaking, and defense to truly be fine in the West. OG Anunoby can cover for Morant and Bane's lack of defensive ability, and Steven Adams and Triple J are locking all that shit up in the paint. Tyus Jones can still remain the player with the highest assist-to-turnover ratio in the entire league, with Donte and Royce spotting up from 3 and playing immaculate defense in the second unit. I trust about 7 of these 10 players to hit an open 3, which I think there will be a lot of in Taylor Jenkins' offense, and I think Santi Aldama and David Roddy can also give you spot minutes when needed or when injuries occur like they did this past season. So this was my attempt at fixing the Grizzlies and turning them into a real contender this next season. I hope y'all enjoyed. I'm hyped to talk hoops with y'all in the comments, so let me know where I went wrong with the roster construction and we can chop it up. I didn't include a draft pick in today's video since I traded this year's pick away for OG, but in future videos I'll definitely talk about some of the draft prospects coming up, like in this Mavericks video I have planned. I can't wait for that one. Let me know what teams y'all would like me to do next, and I'll make it happen. See y'all in the next video. Peace.